Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Ship and Read. I'm doing yet another reading vlog. Originally I was going to do a long weekend reading vlog because it is a long weekend right now, but because I get bonus points this week for the book2games to do a 24-hour readathon, I decided to make this reading vlog into a 24-hour readathon. So we'll see how that goes. To be honest, I feel like the last time I did 24-hour readathon, it did not go so well. I only finished a book and a half and that was it. So we'll see. I mean, fingers crossed, right? But anyways, the first two books that I am trying to read during this readathon is this one, which is Chaos of Standing Still. I'm currently on page 196, so I'm going pretty well. I'm about halfway through this book, so I should finish this book pretty soon. The thing is, I am not really enjoying this book so much. I am super annoyed with Rin, who's the main character, and her friend Lottie. Like, those two characters, I swear, they are super annoying. The way how grief is depicted in this book is not the greatest, for my opinion at least. I mean, I think some people really enjoy it, but for me, for whatever reason, the grief depicted here and how Rin is coping with it and doing her thing is just really irritating to me, and I don't really know how to explain it. I'm going to have to read a little bit more because I kind of lost my train of thought here, because originally when I was reading it like 3 hours ago, I was very much like, I know exactly what I want to say, but I forgot. I'm gonna read a little bit more and remember exactly why I hate her so much. But she's super annoying. I'm not a fan of her at all. The only person I like so far in this book is Xander, who is the guy that she bumped into and accidentally swapped phones. This book, I don't know. I mean, I'm still gonna read it because there are some elements to it that I'm liking right now. Specifically Xander, I really like him, but we'll see how that goes. Another element that I don't like is the way how this book is written. So the way how this book is written is that there's the current event, which is at the airport, and then there are these random flashbacks. There's like technically 3 timelines in a way. There is a flashback before what happened, then there is a flashback of after what happened, and then there is the present day. So there's technically 3 timelines in this book, and every time it jumps into any of the flashbacks, it's super jarring and I'm just not interested in it, and it just disrupts me so much in my train of thought when I am reading this book. So not a fan of that at all. But anyways, moving on to the other book that I'm trying to read. So I'm also reading Empress of All Seasons by M. Jean. I'm currently on page 304, so I will definitely finish this book tonight because I'm doing a buddy reading for this actually, and the deadline to finish this book is tonight. So the way how we set it up is that every day we'll read a certain amount of pages or certain chapters, and today is the last day. So I definitely want to finish this book first just so I can finally finish it and talk to my buddy reading partner and figure out what's going on here, because honestly this book, and I think she and I agree, it's super weird. It's not like the book is bad or anything, but the reading experience and the pacing of this book is really weird. It's very off. I think there's a ton of action going on, and I feel that it's super rushed in the sense that there's so much going on, but neither of us really feel as we are connected to the actual story or the characters. And it's really interesting in terms of the action and the plot itself, but I think that this book could have been expanded so much more and have actually become maybe like a 2-book kind of thing, because one book is incredibly rushed. I feel that because it's one book, none of the characters are very well developed. They're kind of just briefly mentioned upon and touched upon. I am not sure if I like it at all because of that, so I'm a little sad about that, because this book actually sounded really good and I'm really excited for it. But I think, I don't know, I mean, I'm not done with this book yet, so maybe it will become better in the last 60 pages or so, but at this point I don't really think that's going to be the case. So this is going to be more like a 2-star, possibly 3 if I'm feeling generous, but more like a 2-star read, I think. So these are the 2 books that I am going to read for the beginning of this readathon. I'm going to try to finish both of them at least before I go to bed tonight, and then after that I'll figure out, because I do have a lot of books I want to read for the Valentines, the Fierce Female Reads, and then also my TBR for the month of January and February. So definitely still a number of books I want to pick up this month. So I just finished this book, and can I just say the ending is so disappointing. Oh my god, I don't know what else to say. Like, everything is just, this book, okay, I like the fact that there's a lot of diversity to it and the cultural references. I really like that. It's set in Japan and it has a lot of like cultural references in terms of the yokais and the different types of demons that are in Japanese folklore. So I really like that aspect, but Literally everything else I did not like. I did not like the characters. It's not like okay, no, let me rephrase that. It's not like I didn't like the characters, I just never felt invested with any of the characters, because I think that the character development was never really fully developed. I mean, they never really formed any sort of way for me. So because of that, I feel like I just never really cared about any of the characters. And also the pacing, like I mentioned earlier, is so weird. It's just way too fast. The ending completely sucked. It was the worst ending in history. I think I'm gonna give this book 2 stars. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this 2 stars. Possibly even like 1.5 stars, to be honest. This book was just the worst. I don't even know what else to say anymore about this book. It could have been so good because there was so much potential in terms of the premise of this book, but the ending, oh my god, the ending is So anyways, that's all I can say about this book right now. I am going to continue reading. Where's my other book? So anyways, I'm going to start reading the other book, finish it, and then go to bed because I'm exhausted right now. At this point, it's already 1:30 in the morning. Actually no, not 1:30. At this point it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm getting really tired though. So anyways, I'll update you guys later. So I'm about an hour and a half into my reading right now, and I just finished this book. So I think the best part for me for this book are the side characters. There are 3 characters I really like. One was Xander. I like him so much. He was so adorable. Then there's also a girl in there called Siri, which I really like her as well. She is definitely a ride. I really enjoy reading about her. And the third side character that I really like is Troy, the little kid. Those 3 characters are literally the only reason why I like this book so much, because the rest of the book about Lottie and Rin, I don't like care too much about them. So end of the day, I think I'm going to give this book maybe a 3 star or something like that. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to think about this a little bit more probably when I do my actual review and figure from there. But this book, I don't know. I mean, the way how grief was portrayed in here, it was good in a way, but it didn't really connect with me, I guess is what it is. And I did a lot of things that she was doing, a lot of things that she was going through, a lot of things that also because she was really stupid as well, has nothing to do with the grief aspect to it. The stuff that she was like stupid about is stuff that I think is common sense, but whatever. So with all that combined, I just didn't like her. I didn't really like the book. So that's kind of my end conclusion to this book right here. But anyways, I'm going to bed soon because I'm exhausted. At this point it is almost 2 a.m. right now, so I definitely want to go to bed because I do have things to do tomorrow morning. That's the only thing I have to do before I just spend the rest of the day just reading and doing more of this readathon. So I will see you guys later. So coming back with another update, I'm currently reading this book right now. I basically completely deviated from my TBRs, all of my TBRs, because this one was actually sent to me by a publisher, I want to say like a month or 2 ago now, and it actually comes out in March, so I want to read this as soon as possible so I can read and review this before it actually comes out, and I'm very excited for it. I'm currently on page 84, so not so, I mean, I'm like a third, maybe a quarter in, something like that, and all I can say is that this book is written so well. I am literally like, my heart is literally pounding every time she is struggling with everything that's going on. So this book is all about Islamophobia, and basically it's set in a futuristic United States where there are now these internment camps for Muslim Americans. And when Layla and her family just got notified, like they literally had like no notification whatsoever. The guards, the police just literally came pounding on the door and they're basically sent off to internment camp. That entire scene, my heart was literally racing because I was like, oh my god, because I was so scared for like what they were going through, and just the emotions that the author is writing and portraying is so well done. Like my heart is literally pounding every time I'm reading this book right now because it's so good. And like the one thing that I feel that is really well portrayed, not just that part, is also the fact that, so Layla herself, she's a teenager, she's like a high school senior, and at this point in time, I think it's been like a few months now where there's curfew set in place. She has everything, like there's like beginning of the book, right from the beginning, there's a bonfire where literally they're just burning all the books. It's like the Nazis but for Muslims. And she would do things and say things like throughout the book so far where it's kind of like she's like talking back, I guess, which is totally normal because in a way it's like complicit silence, you know. So if you don't speak up, then obviously no one will hear your frustrations, no one will hear your concerns. But in this case, I was so scared for her. Like, her parents do not want her to speak up at all because obviously people have guns. Like, you're talking to someone with guns right now, you're talking to someone who can report you, and you don't know what happened. Like, there has been reports of these Muslims just disappearing and no one knows what happened to them. So for her parents, they're extremely terrified whenever she decides to speak up and, like, you know, give back some retorts. And on my hand too, I'm like terrified for her as well because I'm like, oh my god, what are you doing? Like, don't speak. But at the same time, isn't that kind of like complicit silence as well? Because if no one speaks up, then, you know. So oh my god, like, this whole book is giving me so many feelings right now. Like, I can't. I don't know what else to say right now, but this book is really good, and I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't heard too much about this book. I feel like I heard a lot about this right in the beginning, like maybe a few months ago, but then the past like few weeks or so, past month, I have not heard about this book at all. So I'm kind of surprised about that. So but anyways, this book is really well done. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with this book. I'm actually going to go and give this book a pause for now and start with my audiobook that I'm reading. I'm reading the last book in the Infernal Devices, which I'm really excited for, Clockwork Princess. I want to go and listen to the audiobook for a little bit because I need to go make some food. I want to make some soup. It's like freezing outside right now, so I definitely want to get some of that done. But oh my god, these books, guys. Well, just the Interment, to be honest, because that book is just, if you have read it, let me know what you think about it, because this book is giving me all the feels. Like, oh my goodness, I'm like, I need to stop and breathe for a second here. So another update right now, I am currently still reading this book and I'm at page 270, so I'm doing pretty good actually. I only have about a quarter left of this book, which I really enjoy. This book is really good, and it's all about just resisting and fighting back and just speaking out and trying to find little ways for you to rebel and just resist everything that's going on. And it's kind of crazy to me in terms of how everyone in America is dealing with all the news of this internment camp basically, and I find that absolutely fascinating to me. So I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just the concept of it, the emotions, the way how the author is portraying and depicting everything, the struggles, the fears, you know, just everything about how it's being done and the ways how their rights have been violated so much. It's just incredible, and I'm really enjoying this book a lot right now. Hoping to get this done pretty soon. I was running a few reading sprints on the Discord app, so that was pretty good, and so I'm doing a pretty good job on this book so far. That's really it for my update, because I've been listening to audiobook as well, but not as much. I've been listening to here and there when I've been playing games and stuff like that, but not much to say. I mean, it's the Clockwork Princess. I really like it. All the books I'm reading right now, this book, Clockwork Princess, I am loving them both so much. Also, even the ebook that I'm reading the Mona right now on my Kindle app, and I'm really enjoying that as well. It's such a fun read. I mean, I don't really like comic books, but it was for my Read Harder challenge, I want to say, and yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it a lot as well. So like, all three books I'm reading right now, really enjoying them. So yeah, I guess I'll just update you guys later as I read more of these books, but that's it for now. So I just finished reading this book, you guys, and this book is so good. Oh my god, something just happened, the ending, and I am so sad. Like, I kind of wish the author continue it a little bit more, just like an epilogue or something like that, so I can see kind of like what happened afterward. But at the same time, the way how she ended things, like, definitely is such a strong note. And oh my goodness, this book is so good. Oh my god, I am just shook by what happened in this book, and this book is so good. Oh my god. So I also have a favorite character in this book, and his name is Reynolds. I don't want to say anything else about him because I don't want to spoil anything, but I like his character so much. Oh my god, he is definitely my favorite character, other than of course like Layla. She's obviously my favorite character. Like, the things that she goes through, I mean, in the beginning when things were first happening, I was really scared for her to speak up and to like respond in any sort of way, because I wasn't sure how they'll react. But of course, obviously, as the book continues, she does speak up. She starts to lead this resistant group, and she's basically the forefront of that, and I admire her so much. Like, she's so impressive. Her bravery, her courage, and everything is just, oh my god. Like, and the ending, oh my god, that was so sad. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say about this book, because I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, this book really is just about this internment camp and how life in this internment camp has basically changed her life, her family's life, everyone in that internment camp's life so drastically, and kind of how they're now forced to do all of these jobs that they have to do. They just survive in these camps, they go about their like regular stuff without any of the freedom essentially. And it's just really interesting to see how that like plays out, and how people, there's always going to be people who will betray you, and how they will look for themselves and look out for themselves, which I mean in a way it makes sense, because it's like you want to save yourself, but at the same time in the grander scheme of things I'm like, ugh, you know. Anyway, that's almost up this book, because this book is just really, really good. I really like it so much. I definitely recommend it. If you have not read this yet, definitely go check it out when it comes out. When does it come out anyways? It comes out in March, but I don't know the exact date of when it's coming out. Once I find out the exact date, I'll put it here for you guys to, you know, be on the lookout for this book, because this book is really, really good, guys. Like, anyways, that's all I'm gonna say for this book. I have not really done anything else in terms of my audiobooks or my ebook as of yet, because I've just been really focusing on this book for the past hour or so. It is now currently 6:30, so I think I'm gonna go eat some food. I might take a break now at this point and just watch some shows or something like that, because I have until technically midnight. So a lot of time has passed since I last updated you guys. I think I last updated you guys around 6 o'clock. It is now 10:30, and I decided to pick up this book, but I'm only on page 56, so I really have not made too much of a progress. I also have not really made too much of a progress with my audiobook. Oh my god, like I don't know what's going on. I think it's just like, I mean, I did finish 3 books in a way technically, but I don't feel like, I got so distracted. The past hour, literally, I was watching booktube videos. So anyways, I got super distracted with that. And right now I picked up this, it's called An Affair of Poisons by Addie Thorley. This is also a arc that's coming out end of February, so I did want to pick this up sooner rather than later, because I did get this from the publisher and it's for review, so I want to be able to finish that as soon as possible. So again, I completely deviated from my TBRs, like literally all my TBRs, but I did want to pick up a fantasy book, because obviously, as we know, the last fantasy book I picked up, Empress of All Seasons, was not the greatest book. It was such a letdown, to be honest. Like, the more I think about it, the more I realize how much of a letdown that book is. So kind of disappointed on that end. So I wanted to pick up this one to kind of give myself a better fantasy. This one follows a girl called Mari, who is a poisoner, or not really, but she's an alchemy. She's really good at brewing all these potions, and she unwittingly basically helps her mother and her secret society to murder the king. And the thing is, she did not know about this, obviously. She thought this was supposed to be used for this treacherous, like this guy who was like terrible, was beating up his wife or something like that. So she thought it was a good like justice or a good revenge. And then later she realized that this poison that she brewed was really for the king. So she basically murdered and assassinated him without knowing that what it was used for. So it talks about her story. And on the flip side, there's a guy called Josie, and he is like the king's bastard son. And because his mom is a kitchen maid or something like that, he's basically treated really terribly compared to all his other siblings who are also bastard kids. But because their mom are like royal mistresses, they're not treated terribly. So because his father was just murdered, he somehow becomes ruler of the kingdom. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but that's the premise. And then at some point they meet up and they basically form some sort of alliance, etc. This book sounds really interesting so far. So I just got to the point where she realized that something is wrong, and she realized that maybe the secret society that her mother is in isn't the best society, and they're not actually doing good, which was what she thought they were doing. So I'm at that part right now, and I'm really curious about this book. Hopefully it gets a little better. I'm also extremely tired right now. It's only like 10:30, and I kind of want to go to bed soon. So I'm not even making the 24-hour. I think like I still have to read for another hour and a half to make the 24 hours. So I'm going to strive to do that, but we'll see. I don't think I'm going to update you guys until tomorrow, because at this point I'll try to get as much reading done as possible, but we'll see. I'm just really exhausted at this point. But yeah, that's my update for this book. At least Clockwork Princess, really have not made too much progress. Haven't been listening to it that much. Nimona, my ebook, same. So I'm not doing the best for this one, to be honest, but it is what it is, you know. Like, end of the day, it's fine. Like, I'm pretty good so far with actually being consistent with my reading. So when I feel like I want to strive and read more, I end up not doing that well, because I don't know. So anyways, I'll update you guys later when I read a little bit more, most likely sometime tomorrow. Basically when I want to end this vlog, essentially. So next time I update you guys will be when I'm finishing this vlog. Anyways, that's my update for today. Clearly you can tell this reading vlog, the 24-hour reading vlog, is not the best, but it is what it is, guys. Whatever. Hey guys, so funny story, I completely forgot to actually finish the vlog. It is already March 2nd, and basically it's like 2 weeks later, and I don't know how I missed it. I don't know, life happened maybe, I have no idea. But I'm here to actually finish the vlog now, and the first book that I finished during that reading vlog was Empress of All Seasons by Emiko Jean. This one, I ended up giving it 1.5 stars just because honestly it was just not the greatest book. The only thing I liked about this book is the fact that it had great diversity, and I liked the fact that there was a bunch of Japanese like mythical folklores, etc. Like that was really interesting to read into, and all the Japanese yokais, like the demons and stuff, and there was some that I recognized, specifically the onis and stuff, but there's a lot that I didn't know, and it was just really fascinating for me to kind of read more about them and kind of figure out how they related to the world that Emiko created. But that was the only thing I liked. Everything about this book was just so off. Like the pacing was just so weird. It seemed too fast at times, but then it also seemed too slow at times. It was the weirdest reading experience I have ever encountered. And I think because of the pacing and how awkward it was, I think the characters also didn't really fully develop, at least not well enough in my standards. So I just couldn't really relate with them. I couldn't care less about most of the characters, and I simply was not invested with any of them. So that was basically my biggest issue with this book. Oh, and also the ending. The ending was, oh my god, the ending was terrible. Like I really hated that ending. Anyways, that's kind of my thoughts for this book. And the second book that I finished was The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. I don't remember what I gave it at the end of the day, but I think it was like a 2 or 3 star book because honestly it was just not the greatest book for me. My biggest issue with this book was the fact that I simply did not like the main character Rin. I found her really idiotic at times, and there were things that she said and things that she did that I felt that lacked a lot of common sense. At least my definition of common sense. Maybe everyone has different common sense, I have no idea, but what I considered as common sense she seemed to lack, and so I found her kind of stupid in a way. Not to be rude or anything like that, but I just personally thought she was just not the smartest apple, basically. So that was my biggest issue with her. Another thing that I didn't really like was how grief was dealt and portrayed in this book. I think for me, the way how Rin was dealing with that grief was not very healthy. It was actually kind of toxic, I think, and because of that I couldn't really enjoy it as much. But at the end of the day, people do experience grief very differently. I just think that the way how she experienced it and the way how she dealt with it was just really not the healthiest way, and so I just didn't agree with it, and I did not like how the grief was portrayed in this book. So that was my thoughts for this book. Then the third book that I picked up during this reading vlog, this is the only one that I actually started and finished during the reading vlog or the readathon, is Interment by Samir Ahmed. This one I loved so much. I believe I gave it 5 stars because I think the author did such an amazing job of portraying all the emotions, specifically fear, anger, rage, confusion, and just kind of just not really understanding what is going on and feeling betrayed, I guess, because right from the beginning, I think the beginning was actually the best in terms of the emotions and how that was portrayed, because when they came to basically take the family away into the internment camp, they were actually taken away by a family friend, and that whole like scene right there was just written so well and was completely riveting, because you really see how betrayed they felt that the person taking them to this internment camp was a family friend of theirs. I mean, can you imagine that? That's just so crazy. So anyways, end of the day, I absolutely love this book. There were definitely a lot of ups and downs with my emotions. In the beginning, I was feeling so scared for her family, like Layla's family, so scared what's going to happen to them, and just like a fear and just the anger and the feel of betrayal by everyone around them, the community that they live in. Honestly, the main reason why I enjoyed this book so much is because of the emotions that was evoked from me and how I felt towards her and her family this entire book. So this book I highly recommend. Definitely pick it up if you get a chance. Then the last and final book that I started and didn't finish during the readathon, but obviously by this point I did finish, and that is this one, An Affair of Poisons by Addie Thorley. I love this book so much. I gave it 5 stars as well. So one thing I didn't realize until about halfway through this book is that this one's actually based on 17th century French Revolution, and there's actually a lot of historical elements, like actual factual elements in this book, obviously with a fantasy and a magical twist to it, because at the end of the day this is a fantasy book. But I didn't know that, and I found it really fascinating because there's actually a lot of characters in here that are actually based on real life people that, you know, were around during that time period. Obviously the two two main characters, Mirabelle and Jossie, were fictitious characters, but I just found that really fascinating. So at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this book. I really like the author's writing style. It's very clean, it's very simple to understand and to become completely absorbed into the story, because I feel that a lot of fantasy writers tend to be overly descriptive with their writing, and so that kind of takes me away from the book sometimes because I end up skimming over a lot of stuff. But that wasn't the case at all for this one. I was completely invested into the story. I was completely invested in the characters. I just want to know what was going on, etc. And I really enjoyed this book. So anyways, I highly recommend this book. This one just came out on February 26th, so just a few days ago at this point, and I recommend it so much. It was such an amazing book. I feel like this is definitely like an indie book in some ways because not that many people have heard about it, but I recommend it completely, and if you get a chance to pick it up, I would suggest you to do so. So anyways, those are the 4 books that I managed to pick up during this readathon. I finished 3 of them. The last one I didn't actually finish, but of course at this point, like 2 weeks later, I finished it. So but anyways, that's all to say for this video. I feel like my conclusion here was a little bit scattered just because it's like 2 weeks later. I don't always remember like exactly how I felt every single time I read a book. Plus, spoiler alert, I read 33 books in the month of February, so you know, this girl's got a lot of books in her brain right now, and I need to kind of think about them all before I do my wrap-up video. So anyways, that's all to say for this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!